Okay, so I keep seeing Bakhmut, Bakhmut, Bakhmut. Why are we talking about Bakhmut? Well, the Russians have been after this small little town that nobody really pays any attention to, except it happens to be at a strategic crossroads, and they're after it for a particular reason. And I'm going to show you what's going on. Okay, so let's look at a few articles. So there have been a rash of articles in Russian media where they're celebrating how they're taking Bakhmut or areas around Bakhmut. This is Shavish Yar, which is really close to it. The main thing now is to control the supply route of the armed forces of Ukraine to Shavish Yar, and they're talking about this. So what are we talking about? What's the geography, or where are we looking? Let's look at a deep state map. Here's Shavish Yar on the corner here. Here's Bakhmut. Now, why are they after Bakhmut? Bakhmut sounds like it's a strange place. It's not like a major metropolis or anything. It's actually kind of out in the sticks. Now, let's look at one article here before we get into this. This was yesterday, okay? And I talked about this. Fighting around the key eastern Ukraine town of Bakhmut has descended into a bloody morass with hundreds of dead, injured, reported daily. And so what's going on? Why is it so significant? Okay, so the ISW kind of answers it a little bit, the Institute for the Study of War. Recent claims of Russian gains around Bakhmut on November 27th, 28th do not portend imminent Russian encirclement of Bakhmut. So they're not worried about it at all. These are guys that study military, they're experts, they study warfare. I don't claim to be, I'm not. I'm just showing you what they're saying. Okay, multiple Russian sources claim that Russian forces also captured, and they list a number of towns right around Bakhmut. There is no open source evidence supporting these claims. Russian sources have notably propagated spurious claims regarding gains in Bakhmut. So why Bakhmut? What's going on? And I'll answer that before we're done. Even if Russian forces have indeed succeeded in taking control of settlements south of Bakhmut, these gains do not threaten the critical T-0513 Bakhmut-Seversk and T-0504 Bakhmut, I don't know how to pronounce that name, routes that serve as a major Ukrainian ground lines. So I'll show you that on the road on the map. Russian forces in Kisklevik, I don't know, in order to advance any further would have to cross 3 kilometers of fields. Now this is what's really important. They have to cross 3 kilometers of fields with little cover and concealment. Russian troops in their current degraded state, they have to cross this kind of line in order to capture it. That's really what we're talking about. So here it is again. Here's Bakhmut, and right around here it's just open fields. So I went and I looked at Google Earth and I said, okay, what's good? Yep, here's Bakhmut. This area in the Christmas tree, candy cane looking kind of thing, okay? And then this is what they're coming from this direction, and they have to cross over these fields. Now, crossing over these fields, you as a defender, you have a huge advantage. Like think about Lord of the Rings or something, like it's firing from the castle. If you have defensive lines and they have to cross this open field, it's going to be very bad. Okay, let me show you another thing on Twitter. Here's the killing fields of Bakhmut, where Russians, both young and old, come to die in the hands of Ukrainian give-no-inch forces defending Bakhmut. Okay, there's nobody dying or anything on here. I'm just showing you what the fields look like. So here, look at this. Like this is a drone's view. Those are trees. That's just fields. That's what they have to cross. It's not easy to do that. Okay, so that's why Bakhmut hasn't been taken for a long time. I got some understanding about what was going on, and I had a working theory before that. My working theory was, let's go back to the map. My working theory was this. Bakhmut was important. If you remember here, just on the other side of Lysychansk here, on the other side of the river, is Severodonetsk. Now, when Severodonetsk fell, the Ukrainians pulled back to Lysychansk, and when that fell, they had to move further back. Now, they always had this pocket here, not just around here, not this area that's reclaimed in green, but this pocket the Ukrainians always still held. And so the Russians thought if they could just take Bakhmut, they could encircle the Ukrainian soldiers in that pocket. Well, that was a useful strategy to go after Bakhmut in the summer. It's not so much useful right now, because even if they take it, what do? They can have what? This land here, and the Ukrainians control all this? I don't know where exactly they think they're going to go. But I did learn something when I was reading this article in Newsweek. President Volodymyr Zelensky has spoken out, and this article, it goes back a little ways. This one goes back to October, I think. Volodymyr Zelensky has spoken out against Russian craziness in its efforts to capture Bakhmut. Like, why were they so interested in it? Well, It's this. Joe Rosenbeek, a British Academy postdoctoral fellow at the University of Cambridge, told Newsweek that taking the town would be symbolic for Russia, as it would enable Putin to show some form of military victory amid successful counteroffensive last month by Ukraine. Like you need in any war, you need to be able to show victories, and there have been few and far between for Russia since early summer. Okay, so the long and short is it's just the only town where Russia has been moving forward instead of backward. And that's why they want Bakhmut. So it's this little insignificant place on the map, but they keep pushing and keep pushing because they're just obeying orders from above. Now, if I was a Ukrainian, I would say I would inflame the situation, because if you're trying to get across this kind of ground, right, and it's just the odds are stacked against you and you already have a defensive advantage, I would say the most inflammatory things I would say Putin, even shirtless Putin on riding a dragon couldn't take Bakhmut, so that they just keep feeding Russian troops into the wood chipper. That's what I would do. But I'm not in charge. I'm just trying to help you understand why Bakhmut's important. Hey, listen, thank you for listening to me. If you're new to me, please subscribe. I do daily updates, and thank you for caring about Ukraine.